Those headphones, you have to unscrew like a little adapter and then plug them into your laptop.
Oh, I should get that.
Yeah. You already do. Those headphones just unscrews.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter which headphones you use. The white ones look better on camera anyway. So
yeah.
Okay, so this I could plug into the laptop.
Yeah, but the little white earbuds look better on camera.
Yeah,
so.
you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
If you like the Princess Leia look, you can wear big headphones.
That's true.
So it's totally up to you what you're. If you're cosplaying as Princess Leia, like I do every week, just put on the big headphones.
I honestly didn't even know this came off of here. Like, this is why I have
Isn't that
George.
cool?
I hired
Isn't
George
that
for
cool?
everything. I didn't even know
Wow.
this was a thing. What? That is crazy.
All right, so we are in the pre-show live stream now. We are actually live,
Right.
but we haven't started this show yet.
Okay.
Our
right.
audience is filing in.
Yeah, well, Jeff is saying no video or audio, but that was
Yeah, this is better.
That was a minute ago.
a minute ago.
All right, let me put this back on.
And so the stream is good. Let me just update the webpage now that I have the YouTube link. And we'll be ready in like
Testing.
2 or 3 minutes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go full screen now. Everything's normal.
Okay. All right. Everybody's hearing
Thanks,
us.
Noveen.
Everybody's seeing us.
Thanks for jumping through the hoops for us.
Yes.
Thanks for having me and guiding me through it.
No, we
Well,
appreciate it.
it's what we do. Anyway. Okay.
It's the delicate balance of user friendliness and a sound quality.
Right.
We try to find the perfect intersection of the two.
Sometimes we do. Sometimes you
we
never
give
know.
up.
Yes.
But we didn't give up. We didn't give up.
Ooh, I was like,
As we
please
like,
work.
as we like to say every week, it's Apollo 13. But see, now people who saw the movie understand that, but if people who
Yep.
who were there, who remember it happening, you go, ah.
All right,
So
I'm
they
just
understand
updating the
that.
site right now with the new links, and then
Okay.
we are almost ready to go.
Okay.
All righty. Okay, so yeah, I got a bunch of questions for you here.
All hard balls. That's how.
No,
we
no,
do it.
these are
Just kidding.
yeah. These are lobbed softballs. You know, it's more like t-ball, actually.
The show's about shameless promotion, as we always remind everybody.
Yeah, so feel free to talk about anything you can that's not under NDA.
Cool. Perfect.
right.
Yeah, I have a whole list of things. I'm like, I should talk about these, talk about this.
Yeah, way to go. Because
Yeah.
you don't want to talk about the thing that's going to get you in trouble. Oh,
Right,
no,
Yeah.
we should
yeah,
Yeah.
but-
I went over that. I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, but we can talk about Redfall and Red Redemption and all that stuff. and-
Yes.
Okay.
Stuff that's
good.
Yeah.
released. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right,
got that,
cool.
that.
All right. So audio is good. Video is good. The website is
This is that working now?
updated. That's good. Let me get my Facebook so I can pin Jeff's post. I can do that later.
Okay.
So I think we're ready. I think
All
we're ready
right.
to
Oh,
go.
wait.
I see 5 o'clock on the big dial, even though it's digital.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a cold open. We're just gonna say hi. We're gonna introduce you. You can wave or say
Wave.
hello,
Okay.
and then we're gonna do our video intro. That's like a 3-minute pre-record,
Okay.
and then you're gonna look at Sue at the very bottom. I don't think you see Sue. Do you see her down
Not right now.
there? Oh, you can't. see
Okay.
her.
All right.
No,
So
She's
then
gonna
trust
count
us.
us in with her fingers, and then just listen to us, and we'll cue you, and then
Okay.
just follow along. And then when we go to commercial breaks, you will not be able to hear us.
Okay.
When there's videos playing back, so our communication is a private chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to say anything, I have to run out for a sec, or I can't
Okay.
hear you guys, or oh my god, the house is on fire, whatever. Just type it into private chat, and we'll know what's going on. And
Okay.
and then when the show's actually over and we say goodbye, you can just
go.
jam.
Okay,
Because then
cool.
we don't have a way to talk to you until the
Oh,
show's over.
okay, cool.
So-
And is this a link that I can just send to my boyfriend upstairs because he wants to watch?
Oh, absolutely.
Can watch it there or just on VOBS.
VOBS.tv.
VOBS.tv?
Yeah, I have the
Yeah.
website updated, so if he goes to VOBS.tv, he will see it with our delay. There'll be like a 10-second delay.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Just send that to him.
Okay.
Cool.
I think we're ready. All right,
Okay.
let's do this. Watch for Sue. Here we go. 5, 4, 3.
3, 2. Hey, it's time for Voiceover Body Shop. And tonight we have a lovely guest, a woman who is just moving up in the voiceover ranks, Noveen Crumbie. Hi, Noveen.
Hi, guys.
We got lots of questions for her. And if you've got a question for Noveen, throw it in the chat room. Jeff Holman is in there, and we're going to ask her all those questions, and we're going to have the funnest hour you could possibly have. Are you ready, Mr. Whittam?
I am set. Let's do this.
It's time for Voiceover Body Shop right now.
From the outer reaches, they came, bearing the knowledge of what it takes to properly record your voiceover audio. And together, from the center of the VO universe, they bring it to you now. George Whittam, the engineer to the VO stars, a Virginia Tech grad with the skills to build, set up, and maintain the professional VO studios of the biggest names in VO today. And you, Dan Leonard, the voiceover home studio master, a professional voice talent with the knowledge and experience to help you create a professional sounding home VO studio. And each week, they allow you into their world, bringing you talks with the biggest names in the voiceover world today, letting you ask your questions, and giving you the latest information to make the most of your voiceover business. Welcome to Voiceover Body Shop.
Voiceover Body Shop is brought to you by VoiceOverEssentials.com, home of Harlan Hogan signature products, Source Elements, remote studio connections for everyone, VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website isn't a pain in the butt, VOHeroes.com, become a hero to your clients with award-winning voiceover training, JMC Demos, when quality matters, and VoiceOver Extra, your daily resource for VO success.
And now, live to drive from their super secret clubhouse and studio in Sherman Oaks, California, here are the guys.
Well, hello there. I'm Dan Leonard,
And I'm George Whittam.
and this is Voiceover,
Body Shop.
or VO BS.
Yes.
All righty. Another week, another VOBS. Fresh content for you folks every week. That's why we're here, to make sure that you get the best information to help you with your voiceover business. And yes, it is a business, kids. It's an entrepreneurial business. You're the one responsible for finding work. You're the ones that have to get out there and make it happen. And we want to show you how to get it done. And one of the ways we do that is by talking to some of the people that have done all the hard work, that have paid their dues, made it happen. And so we have somebody like that tonight. Let's introduce our guest. Noveen Crumbie is a multifaceted actor who is currently best known for bringing a range of characters to life through the power of her voice. She's widely recognized as the voice of E! Network, that's E with an exclamation point, and has announced the People's Choice Awards, the Screen Actors Guild Awards, stuff like that. And the characters she creates can be heard across action video games like Redfall and the BAFTA award-winning game Red Dead Redemption 2. What about one? An animated children's series including Rainbow High and LOL Surprise, House of Surprises. Her voiceover work also extends into documentaries, books, and commercials, and she's appeared in TV, film, and theater productions. Let's welcome to Voiceover Body Shop, Noveen Crumbie. Hi there.
Hi, guys. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a thrill to have you on. You're a very busy lady these days. You're doing an awful lot of stuff.
And we kept you busy to open up the show, too. You had you running and getting your mic and adjusting settings and on and on. But thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, as I said, you're very busy. George says, well, you got to get Noveen Crumbie on. She's like really hot right now and she's doing everything. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your path to voiceover?
So originally when I was younger, you know how your parents kind of try you in different things, or like, oh, let's try them in this sport or modeling or whatever they want to do. And I ended up doing community theater and absolutely loving it. Went to school for musical theater for 4 years, never thought about voiceover, didn't really know what voiceover was. But throughout that time, people were like, oh, you have a great voice. You should really try voiceover. And check that out. So after I graduated, I got into voiceover classes, took that for a year, found out it was a talent that I didn't know I had, and got an agent the year after, and just been working in the industry since. And it's been about 7 years now, which is crazy. So now I love voiceover. I love voicing shows and animation and award shows. It's been a surreal ride. It's been awesome.
Yeah. So you got an agent after a year.
Yeah. I took classes with Jeff Howell. Shout out Jeff Howell, amazing. And he's the one who really noticed my talent and decided to share it with his friend, who's the voice of Atlas Talent Agency. And they loved me, and I've been with them ever since.
That's great. Yeah, no, Jeff's a great coach and certainly a prominent person out there in the promo world. And so if he noticed you were good, you're good.
Thank you.
Yeah, there are coaches that are good to work with because of who they know and
And what they do.
Not only are they great coaches, but they connect you with great people. Jeff's definitely one of them.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's awesome.
Yeah. Now, I read you worked at Disney as a dancer. Is that true?
Yes, it is.
What was that
true.
like?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Anyone who knows me knows I love Disney everything. So my whole dream was to just work at Disney, before acting, before voiceover, all that kind of stuff. And I auditioned for Disneyland a couple times, finally got in. And I had been a dancer in the parades for about 2.5 years. So the summer parades, the Christmas parades, Fantasmic, that's out now. But unfortunately, COVID happened and Disney kind of shut down for a year. And then my life got busy with voiceover, so I'm not mad about it. But Disneyland was so fun, so surreal, and I really want to go back. I want to retire there. Honestly.
Really?
I would love to just go back there.
What distance did you cover when you were marching and dancing? What was the distance that you had to go?
From the front of the park, the entrance, to literally the very back where It's a Small World is.
Yeah.
Like the whole park. So working there, it's a workout, honestly. You don't need to go work out on your own. They will work you out for you. And I was in shape then. And then COVID happened, but yeah, I definitely want to go back.
Yeah. No, I hear that if you work at Disney, you're not an employee, you're a cast member.
Yes.
Did you ever run into Kiff?
Who's Kip?
Kiff was always
Kiff
playing a
Vandenheuvel.
cop in the, I think the New Orleans area. He was a
Oh.
cop there all the time.
I
Kiff
didn't know that.
Vandenheuvel. I wasn't sure. It's not that small of a world,
Yeah, right.
but you know,
But it is a small world after all.
there's a lot of people there.
Yeah. So obviously, I mean, quarantine affected you, but how I take it that as you said, your voiceover work really picked up during COVID. How did that go?
Yeah, it actually went the complete opposite for me. And I know how people, kind of lost their jobs and had to kind of find a different direction in life. Voiceover somehow was fantastic for me. I kept getting more bookings, more auditions, more jobs, and was very grateful and thankful for all of that, because that's definitely not how I expected it to be. I'm the voice of E, so I was still doing E every single day. That didn't stop because I recorded all of that at home. And all of the bookings that I had, normally you would go out and record it in a studio, but that's when everyone wanted people to have their own studio professional set up. So of course, contacted George, and I got a home professional studio set up, and that was right before COVID had happened. So I was good to go throughout all of COVID. So I got really lucky there.
Yeah, you did. If you were ready before it happened,
Yes.
we'd
Luck
only been
favors.
warning people for 10 years. Maybe you probably should have one.
Luck favors the prepared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and you were doing stuff all across the spectrum. I mean, documentaries and narration and
Yeah. I got contacted by Netflix, and I did some audio descriptions for them. So
Oh, cool.
for people who might not know, audio description is basically you're describing what's happening in the scene for the hearing impaired. And did that for a few of their documentaries. One of them is called Crack, and talks about the crack in the U.S. and all of that. And Death to 2021, Death to 2020. I have Rumspringa that actually came out as well on Netflix. So I did a lot of audio descriptions there. Got some video games, which have finally come out now. Some are still under NDA. So
Those
it's
take
been
years,
great for
right?
me. Yeah. It's what? Yeah,
Those take years sometimes.
Years they do. Booked my first McDonald's radio ad too, and I've been wanting to get McDonald's. And ever since then,
Wow.
they kind of just keep using me for stuff, and I'm like, this is great. I love this.
What is it about McDonald's?
lucky.
It's such an iconic commercial, right?
It's just
it
'cause
seems
it's-
like the get in terms of commercials.
Yes.
It's just such an icon to
It
get a
is.
commercial for McDonald's. I don't know why.
Yes,
It's
it's
interesting.
like the name brand. You want that like on your website. You want that on your resume. And I was like, all right, bucket list checked off. Got that.
Remember we had Roger Leopardi on? He was telling us all about how to do the McDonald's read, you know?
Right.
It's just such a thing. It's such a thing.
Yeah.
It's
I
cool.
got to do the ba-da-ba-ba-ba, and I was like, all right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dennis
like
Cox
iconic.
doing it. It's like, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. It's like,
Yeah, he does that kind of,
Good, yeah.
he sounds like a jazz man. when he does
Yeah.
Yeah, I do hear that. I was like, I
Doesn't
like
sound Scottish at all. Yeah. Now you've been doing, the award shows, and we know a bunch of other voice talents that have done award shows.
Mhm.
I mean, we know, Randy Thomas
Yeah, Randy.
and a bunch of people
Melissa
like
Disney.
that. Yeah. How did you pursue and land those jobs?
I actually got my first one was the MTV Video Music Awards, the VMAs in 2017, and I got that from doing an audition with my agency. And the thing is, when I've done auditions, I never really get hung up on them. I kind of just do them and send it off and kind of forget about them.
Yep.
And then I ended up, I remember I was at the beach by myself, just enjoying the day, and I got the call from my agency saying, you booked the MTV VMAs, you're going to be the live announcer for it. And that just like was so amazing. And when I actually did the show, I was like, okay, so this is another side of voiceover I'm learning. I really, really like this a lot. And because I did that, I got the People's Choice Awards after that. And since that was with E at the time, and I signed with E contractually, I ended up doing the People's Choice Awards every year after that. And then from then, I was able to get the SAG Awards in February, MTV Movie and TV Awards recently. And I feel like my love in voiceover is award shows. I really love live announcing. I love the thrill. I love the challenge. Some of my friends are like, that's too nerve-wracking for me. I could never do it. I'd rather do other video games and stuff. And I'm like, I love the thrill. I love live stuff.
Yeah, no, live is a lot more fun because, it's like, what's going to happen? And
Yeah.
then you just do it. You get into it. I mean, I've done sports broadcasting and stuff like that. And it's really tight. It's like, okay, this is coming up and
Yep.
you've got so many notes. What did it involve doing these types of award shows? What sort of things did you have to learn?
Definitely people's names. Because
And how to pronounce them, of course.
yeah, some of them were difficult because, of course, they're not always American, so it's not easy for me to pronounce. So I had to go on YouTube and do a lot of research. They also gave me phonetics of how to pronounce it. But the most important thing is you want to find them saying their own name because that's how it's correct. Don't see someone else saying their name. So that was a lot of digging, so definitely had to look into that. I also learned eating specific things and not eating specific things on the day of show. So I stay away from like milk. I stay away from mac and cheese or ranch dressing with salad. It's just like straight dry food and lots of water. But yeah, just trying to stay healthy and knowing what I'm saying, practicing it, getting the timing right, and just letting it flow right off my tongue.
Right. Now, and of course, you're working with a director and somebody who is probably directing specifically what you're doing, and then the show's director. Who were you working with?
So for different shows, it was different people. Lately, it's been Amanda, who's worked with me on the MTV Movie and TV Awards, and we've worked on People's Choice as well. And so she's in the room with me, and so she's listening to the director and the producer and everyone cueing everything and counting down. And I'm listening to that too, but it's also like I have another set of ears listening in case I happen to miss a cue or something happens and we have to change the script or something, which has happened last minute. But we have another set of ears with me, and yeah, it's just a double check and to make sure everything's perfect the way it's supposed to be for the show.
How do you train for that, though? I mean, the first show you do is, I mean, how do you practice? How do you prepare to do something of that nature? Is there classes for that?
I never took classes for that, which is the crazy thing. When I trained with Jeff Howell, it was just classes for a year. We did promo, we did some animation and stuff, but I never really learned live announcing. So I feel like that's something that naturally comes to me and it's something that I enjoy doing. So from the first show that I did, the MTV VMAs, I kind of just picked it up, and I would watch award shows, so I would listen and hear how they do it, and I kind of just picked it up and just really loved it.
Yeah, it's fascinating. A lot of people, if you came out of radio, you understand, doing the stuff live, because it's like, oh, mic's on, you're talking.
Yeah.
But interesting now that most of the people doing those types of things are women now. And it used to be, it was always guys. And then Randy Thomas was like one of the first people to do the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
But now it seems to be all women. You guys are taking over.
I know, it's crazy. It's amazing. And I've met Randy and I've looked up to her, and I'm just like, man, I want to do what she does. I want to announce these award shows. She's killing it. She's doing everything. And I was like, all right, this is what I want to do. Award shows is my favorite.
Yeah, and I'm sure it pays pretty good too, because you gotta be skilled at it.
Oh yeah.
If you're just joining us, where have you been? But we're talking with Noveen Crumbie, who is a voice actor, and she does everything. We're just talking about doing live award shows and a little bit more about what she does. If you have a question for Noveen, throw it in our chat room, whether you're on Facebook Live or you're on YouTube or you're watching through smoke signals. Just throw it in there. Jeff Holman is in there taking notes for us, and we will get those questions to her in our next segment. So if you got something about, something she says, like, I want to know a little bit more about that, throw it in the chat room and we'll talk about that.
Well, I had a quickie about the live.
Go for it.
Do you have an understudy that also is there just in case something happens to you? Is that how they do that?
Never had one, unless they just never told me. But what they do actually is we pre-record everything. So the show is half pre-recorded and half live technically, but we still record the live portion just in case something happens to me, COVID, or I get sick, or whatever happens last minute. But they do pre-record the live stuff just to be safe. But I'm still saying all of that live regardless.
Very good. Now let's talk a little bit about gaming voices, because this is something a lot of people want to do. Games, not easy work.
No,
and nice work if you can get it, but then once you get it, there's a lot to it, isn't there?
Hang on.
Yeah, I mean, Redfall is very popular. Red Dead Redemption was very, very popular. Not that I play these; I'm just too old for this stuff. Let the kids do that. But I'm familiar with all these things. How do you land gigs like that? I mean, are your agents out there looking like, specifically in different categories of stuff, and they're like, oh, Noveen would be really good for this? And how did you land those particular gigs? Because those are really good ones.
Thank you. Yeah, so in the beginning, from what I've seen, it's just they would send me auditions that they think that I would be right for and that I fit and that I'd be good for. Over the years now, I can kind of tell that they are picking specific auditions that they think I would definitely be good for. When it comes to those video games auditions, it's definitely the part that you fit. What voice ranges can I do? What ages can I do? The ethnicity that I can do as well. So it definitely comes down to that. Also, what I've noticed is, the funny thing is when I took classes and I learned stuff in those classes, I never learned how to scream or choke on blood. Like Friday the 13th, which I have right here, never learned how to choke on blood, never learned how to get my throat slit and just die. So that's something I definitely learned while I was recording. I was like, cool, Jeff, never learned that, but thank you.
And how do you do that? Well, what's your method for that?
I mean, my method, I kind of get, a little saliva in my throat, kind of choke on it a little and scream and holler, and safely though, because that is definitely vocally stressful on your throat. So that I had to kind of take easy, and they would take the sessions easy. But I've just been very lucky to get these types of video games. Like I said, like you said, Redfall, Friday the 13th. I have Creed over here. Ozaria, The Sinking City, a lot of video games. So I've been really lucky to get these things.
Yeah. I don't know, these like multiple day jobs, or do you go in and just, kick it all out in an afternoon, or?
They're multiple days, especially the vocally stressful ones. Redfall was multiple days. Friday the 13th was multiple days. Red Dead Redemption 2, that was one day. Yeah, that one wasn't super vocally stressful, but the ones where I am screaming and running for my dear life, that one has to be spread out over a few days. Yeah.
Are these all done at home though?
Now they are. Redfall has always been in studio because we also did facial motion capture for that. So that was in studio. We did that a few times. Red Dead was in studio. Friday the 13th was in studio as well. Yeah, the Sinking City was in studio. Now I'm thinking a lot of these are in studio, so I go out for them. The ones at home is like McDonald's or a little promo or stuff like that. Or animation I do at home as well. But yeah, video games, now I'm thinking about it, is all go in studio.
Yeah, because you've got to work with the director there, and
yes,
and they're real picky about audio.
Yeah,
they
really
and
picky.
it's like and I have to be physical too. So I kind of like that video games like that are in studio where I have the space to kind of expand.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting in the booth. So that would be a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
Once again, we're talking with Noveen Crumbie about gaming and gaming voices and doing live award shows and all the other stuff she does. We'll talk a little bit about that. But again, if you've got a question, throw it in the chat room, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. You talked a little bit about choking on blood and getting your throat slit and stuff like that. How do you prepare for the characters in this, and what type of outlines do they give you?
So the outlines that they give me is, of course, what the character looks like, who they are, their age range, their background, the scene that they're in. So, for example, Vanessa Jones in Friday the 13th, one of the camp counselors, and she's basically terrified for her life the entire video game. So she's trying to get out of Crystal Lake, and so finding all these things, and it's just like a lot of heavy breathing, and it's, if you've ever played the game, it's dark and it's sometimes rainy and it's just spooky. So, of course, you're trying to be quiet, and there's a lot of heavy breathing. It's just, I kind of put myself in that space, how they would feel, and I would be terrified for my life, so I would be quiet too, but also like, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Like, just internally freaking out, pretty much.
Yeah, and then getting slashed.
Yeah, it's just like screaming, just like running away. Then, yeah, and then she's sassy towards Jason too, so it's like, yeah, she's going through a lot.
Now, you were saying you had to do mocap for this. What does that involve? I mean, some people have seen pictures of it and stuff. Mm-hmm. Was that a whole new experience for you? And what did you have to do for that?
That definitely was. I hadn't done mocap before that. I believe I did it for Red Dead Redemption 2 as well. I don't think I did it for Friday, but I definitely did it for Redfall, and that was definitely interesting. Basically, they get little dots and just put it all over your face, and then you have this giant like crane thing and a camera, which is really up in your face like that, so no personal space whatsoever. It's a bright light, and the guy who's putting it on has a little mini iPad, so what he sees is literally this. So it's just like, it's all like high definition as well. So it's like, you can't do anything about it. You can't wear makeup. It's just like, you see pimples and everything. So great. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely all up in your face and kind of interesting. But after a while, I kind of forget that it's there because I'm so into the character and doing what I need to do. Besides when I accidentally hit the camera like on the mic. I'm like, oh, right. Sorry. Let's redo that take.
So the mocap was always constrained to being in front of a mic, or were you more physical? Were you moving around the room ever, or was it always constrained to being like in front of one fixed position?
In between that. So I wasn't super constrained, but I wasn't also moving around the room. It was kind of just in that space where I was. I could move my hands and my arms and stuff, but not move my head too much where it's off mic and you can't really hear me while I still have the camera in front of me. But I was still able to move around and do what I need to do to kind of get in character. If, for example, like for Friday the 13th, if I'm running, or even Redfall when I'm running, it's kind of like running in place and kind of just looking around with your eyes, but not moving your head too much. So I was still able to get in character and do what I needed to do. Yeah.
Wow. It's fun stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
sounds fun.
It's acting now. And of course, you've also done on-screen work.
Yes, I've done some on-screen. I've done some commercials when I was growing up as well, and some here. When I was younger, I did the Science Center of Connecticut, because I'm originally from Connecticut, so I did a lot of commercials there, and I did a Ford commercial when I was here. And then, if some of you may or may not have known, I was also on the Ellen DeGeneres show, where she gave me some gifts and she gave me a car, so that was like an incredible amount of screen time I've ever had,
Wow.
which has been crazy. So I was in 2 episodes of the Ellen DeGeneres show, and then on her Game of Games show as well. So I call her Auntie Ellen.
Oh, so you
way.
like fell through the thing there, and
Yeah, I did. That was crazy.
once again, we're talking with Noveen Crumbie. You got a question? Now's a great time to ask it, because we're going to get to those in just a minute. George, you had something you wanted to ask her about LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, Noveen, we worked together, so I knew of you. But the reason you got my attention was your posts on LinkedIn. And you are working LinkedIn in a way that I'm connected with thousands and thousands of people on there. You are working LinkedIn on a level that I not really am seeing happening. And I'm wondering, and first of all, good for you.
Thank you.
It just shows what dynamic work you're doing, and it's exciting to watch. I love the thing you just posted, I guess it was today, where you were lip syncing your own read to the spot.
Yep.
Which was really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so it's all really impressive, but is that worth it? Are you getting the ROI from all that you put into LinkedIn? Is it getting you clients?
I wouldn't say right now it's getting me clients. I'm definitely getting a lot of messages and interaction on the posts and comments. Not clients necessarily. I did get, I forget what company it is, but it's another top voiceover agency that messaged me. I don't think I should say who, but messaged me and was like, hey, who are you repped by? Well, if you ever want to come over to us, we'd love to have you. And I'm like, thank you. I love Atlas, but thank you for now. But I notice at least people are getting out there and seeing me, which is kind of good, and seeing what I'm doing. And I'm inspiring other people, which is great. And definitely trying to go on their profiles and inspire them and see their work and kind of encourage them as well. But I kind of just know, like, anything that you have, you want to put it out there, you want to share it with people, and you never know who could see it. So
yeah, that's true. You know, it's like in radio, you never know who's listening.
Yeah.
So be careful what you say. 'Cause
Exactly.
I've known some people that said stuff that perhaps they shouldn't have said, and then found themselves out of a job.
Oh no.
Yeah. We like to talk about how voiceover is an entrepreneurial business. Now, clearly you have agents, and you have people looking for work for you. Do you do your own forward marketing? George was just talking about using LinkedIn. How else do you get yourself out there?
So besides LinkedIn, I do other social media websites. So I do post the work that I do. Everything you see on LinkedIn is definitely posted on Twitter. It's definitely posted on Facebook and Instagram as well. So I do share it on all platforms out there. I recently signed with a publicist, so that has been great, and they have been helping me to get more out there and to kind of get my name known in magazines and get on red carpets and getting more interviews. So they've definitely helped when it comes to the next step of advancing your career. But
when do you know it's time to do that step? How did you know it's time? Were you getting recommended by those around you? It's time to do this?
It was actually by a friend who recommended me to that publishing agency. And then my boyfriend, he's actually in the music industry, and he was like, I see all the work you're doing. You're killing it. You need to get out there. You should be on the red carpet. You should be in this magazine. You should be interviewed everywhere. So he actually was like, this is the next step we need to do. And he's the one who's really guided me and helped me into that, because I never knew that was the next step. I didn't know that was a thing. I knew people had publicists, but I thought it was like, oh, you need to get bigger in order to get that. I didn't really know how to do that. So I really give him all the credit when it comes to guiding me and, you know, encouraging me and supporting me and getting me more out there. So it's all thanks to him. So I'm still learning when it comes to this business. So yeah.
Yeah.
The businesses are different, but the skill sets are similar.
Exactly. Yeah. He's like, you have the resume, you have everything. Now we just need to get you out there. So I was like, all right, let's do this. I'm ready.
Yeah. Have you done any modeling too?
I did modeling when I was younger. I did. Yeah, I did runway modeling when I was younger, and I haven't done it since then. I did John Casablanca School of Modeling, and I got some print ads, but I haven't done modeling since then. The only modeling really is me wearing all my Disney stuff down Main Street in Disneyland. It's the only modeling I do. That's about it.
All righty. Once again, we're talking with Noveen Crumbie, and we're learning a lot about all the different stuff she does. Again, if you got a question, throw it in the chat room. We're going to get to it in just a couple of minutes, but right now we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back with Noveen Crumbie here on Voiceover Body Shop. Don't go away.
Well, hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear some big-voiced announcer guy on your new orientation training for Snapchat, were you?
This is Virgin Radio. Well, okay, we're not that innocent.
There's jeans for wearing and there's jeans for working. Dickies, 'cause I ain't here to look pretty.
She's a champion of progressive values, a leader for California, and a voice for America.
It's smart. It's a phone. It's a smartphone. But it's so much more. The files are ready. Don't forget to pick up the eggs. What time is hockey practice? Check out this song.
It's the end of the road for Rick. Just you and me, Rick. When hope is lost.
The i8 from BMW. Who said saving the planet couldn't be stylish?
Hey, it's J. Michael Collins. Bet you think I'm going to try and sell you a demo now, huh? I think they speak for themselves. But I will give you my email. It's jmichael@jmcvoiceover.com. Now, if Dan will stop waxing his mustache for a minute, we'll get back to the show.
It's travel time, and whether you're relaxing on a beach, sweltering in a car, or waiting for your Group 9 to board that already delayed airplane, nothing calms one down like a good read. Why not read the best real-life story entirely about voiceover from Harlan Hogan, celebrating his 46 years as a card-carrying SAG-AFTRA member, reflecting the quantum change that has occurred in the way voiceovers are recorded and cast in recent years. This updated second edition describes the advantages and disadvantages of auditioning and recording from home studios for clients around the world. There's useful advice after every chapter dealing with Harlan's journey from terminally shy kid to voiceover legend, new and expanded session stories from the trenches, how to make professional recordings at home and on the road, how to create demos and auditions that win jobs, how to market yourself, all about agents, unions, and fees. VoiceOver, Tales and Techniques of a Voice Actor, autographed, and it makes a great present at $19.95, only at voiceoveressentials.com.
Now I want you to imagine somebody puts out a call for an audiobook narrator, and you burst through those doors. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. How would you like to add audiobook narration and production to your VO toolkit and earn union wages, even if you're a non-union narrator, even if you're a VO talent that hasn't joined the union yet? So if you want to work with ACX and Audible and all of the other big publishers and big producers, I'd love to hold your hand along the way and do it at a really great cost. The ACX Masterclass Home Study Edition is open for registration as we speak. Go to acxmasterclass.com/join. That's acxmasterclass.com/join. We start this Monday, so don't wait.
This is the Latin lover narrator from Jane the Virgin, Anthony Mendez, and you're enjoying Dan and George on the Voiceover Body Shop.
And we're back with Noveen Crumbie, having a wonderful talk with her, learning about all the cool stuff that she does, which sounds like just about everything. But we got a lot of questions here from our vast worldwide audience that is fascinated by what you're all about. And why don't we start with some of those?
All right.
George,
all right,
you're up.
From the top, J. Horace Black in our YouTube chat. He says, "Hi, Noveen. Congrats on all the success. First question, what kind of setup or mic?" I knew he always asks about the gear. I never have to do it because Jay does. Thanks, Jay. What kind of setup or mic did George set up for you? Well, there was one that I set up for you, and then I think you may have evolved since then. But tell us what's been your tech journey a little bit.
Well, hi, Jay. Thank you for the question. So, of course, George has helped me. So I do have, for my interface, it's a ZI-10. For my microphone, it is a Sennheiser MKH416. So the shotgun mic. And this one actually was specifically requested when I became the voice of the E Network. So this is the one that they wanted. So this is the only one that I've always ever had.
It took all the guesswork out of it.
Yeah.
It was just like this.
Yeah, they were
the
like,
mic.
we want this one. I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. So I got that one. Currently, I am in a closet that I've turned into a voiceover booth. So George has helped me to get, they're like little pads, square pads that you can buy on Amazon. And I just have those all around me in my little studio. So that kind of helps the sound to kind of stay in, but not too like,
boxy sounding or super
sounding.
dead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's basically what I have. And then I use Audacity as what I record on.
You're keeping it
it's been
simple.
good for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the clients have been completely fine with that. They've never really asked about
Yeah.
that. But it's all
Audacity gets better and better. The only time I have trouble with Audacity is if there's any trouble with it, like if there's anything buggy, which doesn't happen that often. But you can't really email the developer because it's all volunteers.
Yeah,
it's harder, but it
Open
generally
source,
it's very reliable. And so you're in the closet still. You were in a closet before. You're in a new closet now. It's a little bit more spacious. You have a little bit more room to move. The other one was pretty small.
Yeah, this one's it's a lot better, and the other one I kind of shared with my actual clothes in the closet, so it was kind of like a half studio, half closet. But this one is just a closet all on its own. It feels a lot more like a studio.
Excellent.
Great,
and then his second part was about your SAG Award work. Jay says, did you do live announce from home or on set for that?
Thank you again, Jay. So for all award shows, they're all done on set, I guess you could say. So the MTV VMAs was at the Forum. The SAG Awards was at the Barker Hangar. I'm always there on set, and they have a booth, basically like a room that they've turned into a booth for me to do all the live announcing. So like I had mentioned earlier, half of it is pre-recorded. So like the packages, like best hip hop video, Justin Bieber, Enmo, like that kind of stuff is all pre-recorded. But the coming up next and after the break and please welcome, that's all live and that's all there. So I'm seeing all the celebrities come in. I'm seeing the craziness happening and setting up the show. I'm there for all the rehearsals. So yeah, we're definitely there for that. So not at home.
Do you get to dress really nice for that?
I do, yeah. I get to walk the red carpet. I got to walk the red carpet for the MTV Movie and TV Awards, which I did last month. So I got to walk the red carpet, do some interviews. I had pictures taken of me. I was like, wow, okay, thanks, guys. And then I showed up in US Magazine, E! News, US Weekly, like all of that. And I was like, all right, cool. This is cool. Thank you.
Wow.
So that was really awesome.
Yeah, and post that everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is literally everywhere. I was like, guys, look.
All right. Marco Pelez asks, well, you sort of asked this already. Since you're working from home, could you quickly tell us about your home studio setup? Well, George and you just talked about that. So glad you're a guest. Your energy is intoxicating.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Marco, for the question. Yes. Interface is ZI-10. Microphone is Sennheiser MKH416.
We just call it a 416.
Yeah.
Like
okay, perfect.
MKH.
Like,
no one even knows what an MKH really stands for anyway.
I've
you
just
know what it
learned
stands
what
for,
they
George?
are.
I don't actually know what MKH stands for, no. But anybody in this business, 416, or if
416.
you're, as we joke around on my other show, we call it the 416. Just because we want to be weird, because half the co-hosts are from Australia, so we like to mix it up. But yeah, it's the 416. It's the 416. For people that don't know what the ZI-10 is, that's an audio face / mixer that has USB that plugs into the computer. So it's got a little bit more capability, the loop back functionality, and it's made by Allen and Heath. For those who are going, what the heck is ZI-10? It's ZI-10. Of course, it's a cute play on words of Jedi. That's why they call it ZI-10. So that's the Z.
In case you were wondering.
I just learned something too. So
well, that's good to know. You get the one from Luke Spry.
Luke Spry says, hi, Noveen. what advice do you have for the upcoming voiceover artist looking for their big break, and how do you manage your work-life balance? We always want to know that question. So, let's start with what do you have a little nugget of advice for someone who wants to be the next you?
I mean, I'm only going to be me. You are just going to be the best version of yourself. So the way it works for me, it sounds like I should give you like this magical answer, but honestly, it really is just classes. Take classes, and there you learn the foundations of voiceover. You learn the terminology. You learn the different aspects of voiceover, how video games is different from award show, which is different from promos and different from documentaries. It's all different. So voiceover classes really, really do help. And like we were talking about before, be on social media, be in those rooms and those classes, and talk to people who are in those classes, like Clubhouse. There's a lot of classes on Clubhouse where people are just doing podcasts and interviews. You can always learn from people. So kind of just absorbing yourself with everything that has to do with voiceover. And you kind of just learn along the way as well, too. I didn't really have any way that I kind of like snuck in there. But it's kind of like the saying where preparation meets opportunity, and it kind of just works out like that. But you have to want it, and you have to be dedicated to it. It can't just be kind of like, oh, I guess I'll kind of try it. You have to really want it, and it'll show up for you. Yeah.
As I like to say, it's got to be in your gallbladder.
Yeah.
To want to do it.
Yeah.
Have you had the chance to work with any of your idols or favorites? Favorite people that you've listened to over the years, and you've actually been in the studio with them? And
not really. Actually, I've kind of met friends through doing all these different projects where I kind of been fans of them as well. One of my good friends, Zeno Robinson, he's actually one of the voices on Friday the 13th as well. We've done other projects together too, which has been crazy because we didn't know that until we got into studio. And he is just booking, his last booking was Dragon Ball Z. So he's booking things here and there, and that's like a dream of his. My friend Gabe Kunda, we haven't been able to work together yet, but I definitely want to give him a shout out. He is just killing the game. He's one of those deep voiceover trailer guys that you hear. He does all the Disney Plus stuff. He's killing it as well. But I'm still waiting for the day that I can actually work with. See, the thing is with voiceover, it's like you kind of do work with some other voiceover people, you kind of don't. Randy Thomas would be so cool to work with if we announced something together. But usually it's like one or the other, or if it's both, you're like not in the studio together if it's an award show. But animation, Tara Strong, if I said that right, Tara Strong.
Yeah.
I would love to work with her. That would be amazing. I'm still learning all the big people in the voiceover industry, but I would love to just be graced by their presence in the same
I'll put in
room.
a good word for you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Of course, I have the Tara Strong Memorial Chair.
Yes. you have original booth chair. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Wow.
sitting in my booth. It's like, ooh, it's magic.
It's been blessed.
It has. Once again, we're talking with Noveen Crumbie. And if you got a question for her, you can still got some time to throw it in the chat room. We'll get it to her.
Yeah.
Play the voice, Real Kids VO Family. I know who that is, and now I understand the question. She asks, if you had a magic wand to improve the voiceover industry, what would you change?
Oh boy.
Be careful what you say and don't mention any names, but
Oh,
go
yes.
for it.
To improve the voiceover industry. One thing, or okay, I kind of have two.
Pick an industry, because we know that the voiceover industry is
I know.
really many different industries.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so something that I would change. Oh gosh, I have like three things. Okay, one thing I would definitely. Yes, the number one I would say is trying to find out how to word this without really. Okay, I'll go with this instead.
Okay.
One thing that I would change is be easy on the last minute turnaround voiceover auditions, like the ASAP ones. Sometimes I'll be out running errands, or I'll be out at the beach and we're like, hey, we need this in 2 hours. Go quick now. And I'm like, rushing home, or if I can't make it home in time, I have to do it in the car. But it's like, if you ever do voiceover auditions in the car, you hear every single sound on the road, in the garage, everything.
But you don't do it while you're moving.
No,
Good idea.
No. You're definitely parked somewhere, or you just go in a garage, find the quietest spot. But the ASAP turnaround, 1 hour, 2 hour turnaround auditions are just, oh my gosh, your day just goes from relaxing to like stressful. Because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have to get this in. And especially if it's a project that you've been wanting to do, like McDonald's, or if it's like Barbie or some audition that you've always wanted to do, and it's like a turnaround audition, they're like, hey, they didn't find what they wanted, then they really want to just like have you audition real quick, let's do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, okay, I can be home in like 2 hours, like just tell them to hold on, I'm gonna get this. And it's just like that's really stressful. So I wish they were more kind of cognizant of the timing when they kind of just throw that stuff out there and kind of give us a break a little bit. But we do the best we can, honestly.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if they forgot that
life happens too.
Yeah, well, they know life happens, but I think 5-10 years ago, it wasn't all that. The sound quality of the audition didn't matter that much. Like, it really didn't matter that much. Not for those big commercials. They know you're doing it in a studio.
Yeah.
Right? But that's changed a lot since the pandemic. And a lot of this stuff is being recorded in your home studio.
Yeah.
So you're not handcuffed to the home studio. You have life. You do actually have a life. And like you're when those commercial auditions come up, like the expectation is that they're going to sound like pretty close to the real thing. And so, yeah, you can't necessarily do that in a car. Even if you have an Apogee mic in the glove box or another 416 in the back and then you pull over the side of the road and then you can pull off like a promo real fast that's going to be on the air and gone in 10 seconds and no one's going to hear it again mixed with music. You can't do that with commercials. So yeah, I hear you. The agent in question. I know a lot of your fellow compadres that are blessed as being Atlas talent, and I hear that one a lot. Yeah. So let's just leave it at that. Is there something else that you feel is
there was 2 and 3?
There was 2 and 3. We want to hear them.
Well, the other one was. I'm trying to pick which one. I mean, it's kind of okay. So the other one really was. This has kind of happened a little bit more since COVID had happened and the whole Black Lives Matter thing had happened. Just more inclusion of the ethnicities for certain characters when it comes to animation. Because after all of that had happened, that's when I kind of found out, which I didn't know, that there are animation characters out there who are Black or of color and that are not voiced by people who are Black or of color. So that's something that I've noticed that's kind of been turning around, and they are hiring and they are sometimes requesting people who are of color for these certain characters, which I really do appreciate that now. And it just makes us feel more included. It's more authentic and more real. And I think that should be how it is, like across the board when it comes to characters who are different cultures other than Caucasian.
Do they ask for it in a certain way? They say, we're looking for actors whose own culture. How do they carefully ask it? Like, do they say whose own cultural background reflects that of the character? How do they go about requesting that? Because it's such a sensitive topic.
Yeah, they say we're specifically looking for also African American voiceover actors, or they'll try to phrase it in that way, so you kind of just know that this is all they want. Or they say only seeking African American voiceover actors for this role, or if it's like female or male types, of course. But obviously I'm Black, so that's the only auditions I get. I wouldn't get like Indian or Asian or anything like that, but they'll just kind of voice it just one line straight like that. This is all we're looking for. They're like,
are you getting any roles that are auditions that are non-binary? Do you actually hear that as a casting thing?
I've gotten 2 auditions like that, and they were both for animation. And sometimes when it comes to that, I'm just like, I'm like, what kind of voice should I do then? Or
right. I know. I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah. So I kind of just like, all right, I'll just do what I think the character would sound like.
Yeah.
But I guess that's when they're not specifically looking for a male or a female. So I'm like, well, I'm
Because
just gonna
that's
do what I think
huge
it
on
looks
like on
Yeah.
camera. That is huge. Like I'm seeing commercials left and right. They're casting people who are like, you know, sort of gender fluid, non-binary,
Yeah,
not really like
yeah.
clear. Like that's so I was wondering just about that. There was spitballing
Yeah,
there to see if that
yeah.
was anything showing up on a script. Because
Mm-hmm.
right, what does it sound like to be non-binary?
Yeah,
right? What does that
don't
mean?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So I try to sound, because I've had auditions where I have to sound like a little boy or a
Uh-huh.
teenage male, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can try to make my voice go deep, but also try not to sound like a female. So
Hmm.
there's that fine line of trying to figure it out. So that's kind of another challenge for voiceover people to,
Yeah.
how does it sound to not sound male or female, but like a person?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Got one last question here from Jim McNicholas on YouTube. He says, "What tool do you use to post to all social media at once?"
Oh,
So-
that's a tough one.
Yeah, for me, I know there are tools that people use in apps, but I don't do them. I don't do it. I post
You go
it
through
all
each one individually?
individually.
Yeah.
I have to, because I'm a very specific person and I have to have everything neat and perfect in the way it's formatted. But it's just when I do that for Instagram, then it posts to Facebook and it doesn't look the same. It's like weird and the fonting's off. So usually what I do is when I post something, I draft it from the night before. So you can draft in Instagram, you can draft in Twitter, you can draft in LinkedIn, and Facebook. So I draft all of them the night before the way I want it to look. And then the very next day when I want to post it, I just go through, double check it, post, double check, post, and just go through.
Yeah, that's the way I found it gets done the fastest that way. Otherwise, you're shotgun blasting it out there.
Yeah, and they do all have unique formatting, and they do have character count things, and you can't put a link in a Facebook post because it won't show up. I mean, it won't show up in an Instagram post because you can't have a link in an Instagram post, but you can have a link in an Instagram story, and they're all different. There's just no shortcut for doing it. You have
Twitter
to do it
kind of
manually.
does the same thing. It's a little weird, so you have to figure out a way around
Twitter
that.
and LinkedIn are the closest to being similar, I think. Sort of. Well, maybe Facebook pages and LinkedIn. I don't know. They're all different.
Yeah,
post it on
everyone's on
Facebook
everything. Let's all just be on one platform then. Everyone's on everything. Let's all.
I tried so hard to pry myself off Facebook, but that's where the conversation's happening.
Yeah,
the groups are where it's at.
Well, Noveen, it has been a super duper pleasure having you with us tonight.
Thank you so much.
Been looking forward to this. You're a delightful young lady, and we wish you all the best. By the way, we got somebody wrote in, MKH stands for Manfred Hibbing, who is the designer for Sennheiser. In case you were wondering.
There you go. Because there's an
Learn
MK8,
something new.
MK8, and there's
Right.
MKH. So the H must mean some other German term that determines that kind of a microphone. But
Learning
there
a
you
lot
go.
today.
Thanks
Now
for
that we know.
whoever
Yeah.
found that. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. You got anything that we should be looking forward to right now that you can tell us about real quickly?
Yeah, so definitely Redfall's coming out early 2023, so keep an eye out for that. I'm also doing another video game with Bethesda, probably kind of sort of get that away maybe, but that's going to be coming out soon, so keep an eye out for that. Can't say the name of the show, of the video game, but that, I have Rainbow High, which is a big animation show on YouTube and Netflix, so they have new episodes every other week. That's a very popular show, and I will also be moderating a panel at Comic-Con this year. So this will be my first time. I'm excited to be there. I'll be moderating the third annual Hollywood Game Changers, a conversation with the women behind popular film and TV projects. So women from hair and makeup departments or producers or directors or VFX artists. Like, it'll be that. So I'm really excited to do that. So that'll be on July 21st at Comic-Con.
Well, there's your chance to bump into Tara Strong.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, right?
And she'll know who you are by then, which is always kind of cool.
That would be cool.
That would be
That
cool.
would be really cool.
Noveen, thanks so much for being with us, and good luck with all the other stuff. And we look forward to meeting you in person one of these days when we can all get back in our studio here.
Yes, that'd be awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me. This was a lot of fun.
All righty. Take care. All right, we'll be right back and tie everything up into a nice tiny little knot right after this. Don't go away.
This is Bill Ratner, and you're enjoying Voiceover Body Shop with Dan Leonard and George Whittam. VOBS.TV.
In these modern times, every business needs a website. When you need a website for your voice acting business, there's only one place to go. Like the name says, voiceactorwebsites.com. Their experience in this niche webmaster market gives them the ability to quickly and easily get you from concept to live online in a much shorter time. When you contact voiceactorwebsites.com, their team of experts and designers really get to know you and what your needs are. They work with you to highlight what you do. Then they create an easily navigable website for your potential clients to get the big picture of who you are and how your voice is the one for them. Plus, VoiceActorWebsites.com has other great resources, like their practice script library and other resources to help your voiceover career flourish. Don't try it yourself. Go with the pros. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website shouldn't be a pain in the you-know-what.
Well, it's time to thank our longtime sponsors of VOBS, Source Elements, and tell you a little bit about one of the things that makes Source Elements, Source Connect, a pro for some and maybe a con for others. And this is something called the iLock. Here's one right here. This is the latest edition of the iLock. See how small it is? This is what allows that license to be portable. And a lot of you are used to not using one of these, right? And I've said it on the ads many times, no, you don't need an iLock, don't worry. But a lot of people are finding out this is really the best tool for them because they have more than one computer. They've got their travel computer and they have their home studio computer. Or you may have a vacation home or a family home where you go and record all the time and you don't want to have to go through the process of moving licenses back and forth. Source Connect supports the iLock USB key. That's how you bring your license from studio to studio. You bring your key. Now, if you're going to be doing this is what I recommend. Put it on a lanyard, make it big and hard to lose, and attach a tracker to it. This is a tile, but whatever you get, attach something to this because your Source Connect license is now living in this little USB key. You lose this, you lose your license. So it's really valuable. Whatever the value of the license is on the key is what it costs. So this is just, I wanted to just have a little tip. You guys have heard me talk about Source Connect 1,000 times. You know, you can go to source-elements.com, get a 15-day free trial. You can get a test license. You can subscribe to it. You can buy it. There's a million ways to do it. But anyway, I just wanted to share a little PSA about what the iLock actually is and why it's a benefit to you if you're on Source Connect. Anyway, we'll be right back to wrap this up right after this.
You're still watching VOBS?
Yes, you are.
That was way too short. I can tell you from running the show last week, that one's a pain in the neck because you're like, click, 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 click. The fact that Sue gets his back in after the world's shortest Howard Kogan bumper is pretty impressive.
Yeah, well, she's watching the actual timer, the 3 seconds on that one. Anyway,
Noveen was great.
She was fabulous. Thank you for recommending her. Here's the thing about her. She's fun to work with, and that's why they hire her. She's in the studio or she's just friendly and she does what they want and she's pleasant to work with.
Talent gets you in the door, and your personality keeps you there because they want to work with you time and time again.
Absolutely. All righty. Next week on this very show, if you tune in, well, we won't be here live, but we do have Tech Talk 81, which we're about to do. And if you've got a question for us for Tech Talk, if you've got something about your home voiceover studio, throw that in the chat room now too, because that's what makes our show work is the questions you have. And we enjoy that more than anything else. One of the other things we enjoy is that people actually donate to our show to make sure that we maintain the technical magnificence that we have every week on this show. And who are our donors of the work? The work or our week?
The workers that keep our week going. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jonathan Grant,
Christopher Epperson,
Sarah Borges,
Philip Sapir,
Thomas Pinto,
Shelley Avellino,
George A. Whittam, that's my dad. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yes. Brian Page,
Patty Gibbons,
Rob Ryder,
Greg Thomas,
a Dr. Voice,
Antland Productions,
Shanna Pentington Baird,
Martha Kahn,
Don Griffith,
Trey Mosley,
Diana Birdsall,
and Sandra Manwiller.
Alrighty. It's great. And if you go to our website, vobs.tv, there is a button that says donate now. You can give us $1. You can give us 10. You can be like some people, give us a lot more, which we really appreciate. And then we get to say their name every week on this
All you got to do is subscribe for $1 and we're going to say your name. And chances are that name recognition will get you somewhere. It's just a matter of time. It may take you take a month. It might take 5 years, but eventually I know I heard that name
somewhere.
I just want to mention we're going to do another appearance on Jody Krangle's Clubhouse.
That's the first I've heard of it. But
I almost forgot about it. But it showed up on my calendar. I was like, wait a minute, is that happening? Yes, it is. She confirmed today. We're going to have the George the Tech team, whoever can make it. Dan, hopefully you can be there.
I'll be there.
To just talk tech on Jody's Clubhouse. So that's on Clubhouse. So just search for Jody Krangle on there and join in. She calls it the Power of Sound. That's the name of her Clubhouse, which is in support of her podcast, The Power of Sound. So it's sort of a companion. Anyway, we'll be there again, June 29th, 11 a.m. Pacific time.
All right. You still got your coupon code there?
Yeah, it still works and people still occasionally use it. 20% off, folks. I mean, come on.
Go for it.
Huge discount. I'm putting it out there. It's amazing how few people actually use it. Yes, it works for any on-demand, time bookings with any of us, and it works on any of the webinars. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention Twisted Wave Advanced is coming up next week. That's on the 28th at 3 p.m. Pacific time. You can sign up at georgethe.tech/webinars if that's interesting to you. And yes, that coupon code works. So hope to see you there.
Super duper. All righty. You can also join our mailing list. Go again to vobs.tv and click on that because we got over 800 people on our mailing list and they know who's going to be on the show before anybody else does. And it reminds them to make sure that they get in there to watch because we like having a live audience for this show so we can be a little bit more interactive.
Yeah.
We need to thank our sponsors as well, like Harlan Hogan's Voiceover Essentials,
Voiceover Extra,
Source Elements,
VOHeroes.com,
voiceactorwebsites.com,
and JMC
Demos. Thank you to JMC. Jeff Holman, great job in the chat room tonight, getting all those questions through. And Sue Merlino for getting it done. We missed her last week, but George and I were fighting over the switcher, but we like having Sue making it a lot easier for us.
Keeps us sane.
Absolutely. And of course, Lee Pinney for just being Lee Pinney. Anyway, we're going to re-rack it now for Tech Talk. Tell your friends if they've got questions for us, get them in the chat room right now because we'll get to those in the next half hour or so. But we're going to carry on here and do that. But that's all for this particular edition of Voiceover Body Shop. Not an easy business, but we're here to help you out. And we could bringing you all the best information and the best guests here on Voiceover Body Shop. I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is Voiceover
Body Shop.
Or VOBS. Stay tuned for Tech Talk if you're watching live. If not, oh well. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Every time we get to the part where we say VOBS together or JMC demos together, I'm always trying this experiment. I always I try to jump ahead of you to see if it then lines up. But Sue, what do you hear on your end when I jump ahead of Dan? Does it come out all screwed up? Okay. So I should just time it to be, I should just say it right along with Dan. Is that what you're saying? Meh. Okay.
I will try something else.
I'm always messing around. Like I'll say it in front of Dan. And that way when he says it, no, It doesn't work that way.
All righty.
Okay.
Okay, let's get into the meat of the matter and the stuff that you and I love the most, which is tech.
I had a hard time finding things, but I found a couple of things.
All right, good.
To talk about tech news-wise. And one thing that's rather disgusting, which I will not...
Now, you're not the ear thing. You're going to talk about the ear thing?
I'm going to talk about the ear thing. I'm not going to show the video I shot with the ear thing today.
Thank you very much.
But I have a video on my phone of what the inside of my ear looks like.
In case anybody
that's
was
all.
wondering.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right, let's roll it for Tech Talk here. Hey, guess what? You've tuned in to Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk number 81. 81. Where's that 80? There it is, 81. All right. In case you were wondering about that. Yeah, it's another Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk. We just keep rolling with these. I've been going through all the promo things I've been doing for that. It's like, God, they just keep adding up.
Tech never stops.
No,
as long as there's an industry based around selling tech, we'll have to keep talking about it. Most of the time, we're probably going to be telling you not to buy things.
Yeah, I think it's mostly what we do most of the time. Anyway, if you've got a question for us on your home voiceover studio tech, anything at all, we will be happy to answer it. Throw it in the chat room. I know that Jeff Holman is still in there taking all your questions down, and we will get to those in just a little bit. What do you got in your update this week?
Well, I'll start off with something that none of you will probably buy unless you just had a heck of a good year. And that is, I'll start with the Neve 88M. So this is a USB audio interface. And here's the thing. It's $1,245. So think of something that looks a heck of a lot like and works a lot like a Scarlett 2i2. Right,
it's
and multiply the price more by 10, and you get the Neve 88M. Now,
all right.
I'm short selling it a little bit because, of course, the price is on another scale that we're not accustomed to.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it.
But it is a really, really high quality audio interface that they want to basically say, look, we know the SSL2 is out there. We know that you're getting by with Scarlett 2i2s and everything, but we want you to have a Neve preamp in your studio. So they wanted to make it accessible. And so they've shoved two of their 88RS series console preamps into this box. So it just looks like like I said, it looks like a Scarlett, right? It looks like just a 2-channel interface. But the quality of the preamps, the quality of the functional switches and pots and knobs and all the things inside the box are of console, like big console quality. I don't really know who it's for, because I think if you're going to spend this much money, you probably already have several outboard preamps at this point, an Avalon or something. I don't know.
Don't need
but
and now we don't have to talk about it because we still have to do the intro to the show.
We do?
We do.
Did I get that excited that I went right into the news?
Absolutely. It's time for Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk right now.
From the outer reaches, they came, bearing the knowledge of what it takes to properly record your voiceover audio. And together, from the center of the VO universe, they bring it to you now. George Whittam, the engineer to the VO stars, a Virginia Tech grad with the skills to build, set up, and maintain the professional VO studios of the biggest names in VO today. And you, Dan Leonard, the voiceover home studio master, a professional voice talent with the knowledge and experience to help you create a professional sounding home VO studio. And each week, they allow you into their world, making the complex simple, debunking the myths of what it takes to create great sounding audio, answering your questions, showing you the latest and greatest in VO tech, and having a dandy time doing it. Welcome to Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk.
Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk is brought to you by VoiceOverEssentials.com, home of Harlan Hogan signature products, Source Elements, remote studio connections for everyone, VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website isn't a pain in the butt. VOHeroes.com. Become a hero to your clients with award-winning voiceover training. J. Michael Collins Demos, when quality matters. And VoiceOver Extra, your daily resource for VO success.
And now, live to Thrive, from their super secret clubhouse and studio in Sherman Oaks, California, here are the guys.
Well, hello there. I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is Voiceover
Body Shop.
Or VO BS. See, now that
Tech
was nice
talk.
together. Tech Talk.
No, but see, if I jump it just a little bit, you hear it at the same time. See, that's my
It
trick.
works just fine.
Just
Alrighty.
a tiny bit.
Yes. So now we don't have to even talk about the Neva thing because you just rambled on about that. Totally forgot where we were.
No, I got more to say.
Anyway, we're here to help you out with your home voiceover studio because, 20 years ago, who had a home voiceover studio? 10 years ago, a lot of people had them. Boy, the pandemic changed all that, and now everybody has to have one, despite the fact that we were telling you you needed to have one 10, 15 years ago. Of course, if you just got into voiceover, you didn't know that, but now you do, and you should have one. Anyway, if you got any questions for us, throw it in the chat room. We will be able to answer those in our next segment, but we got lots to cover here. But, it's important to remind you, why did George and I even do this? Why do we do Voiceover Body Shop Tech Talk? It's to remind you that, there's not a lot of guys out there that really understand it. Now, if you're on Facebook or LinkedIn or some of these places, and everybody has their little section, yes, I'm an expert on home voiceover studios. Nobody's been doing it as long as we have. We have seen it evolve from, all right, I won't go from reel to reel, but we've seen it evolve from DAT to people, in the mailing out
FedExing
tapes.
DAT tapes around.
Yeah, FedExing DAT tapes, and to the internet age where we can send MP3. You don't realize MP3s made what we do possible. I know we got a question a little later on about formats and all that kind of stuff, but if you don't understand it when you're getting started, and people get really intimidated by it because they think it's computer stuff.
Yeah.
It's a cassette recorder, guys. It's actually much simpler than that.
Or they stumble into a forum where they get so much disparate information and suggestions that they're just completely overwhelmed. We just want to cut through the noise. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and we try to do it not too noisy. So, if you've got a problem with your home studio, or if you need to learn how to build one properly, or need someone to build it for you, that's what George and I do. And you can't do any better than the two of us. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, except that that's why we're here.
Horn.
I'm tooting your horn. You can toot
toot
mine.
your horn.
That's right. You toot, and then that
we get off the hook that way.
That's right. Exactly. Thank you very much. If you want to work with George, all you have to do is go over to
GeorgeThe.tech is my place on the web, and I too have a new website coming. Mine will probably be coming in the fall. But it's a huge rebuild after having the same website for 12 years. But we'll have a lot of hopefully easier to use content, easier to find, better organized, etc. As that site rolls out. And you can get a sound check. That's what Dan does as well. My sound check is called Sound Check, but Dan's is called a Specimen Collection Cup, and his is over at
homevoiceoverstudio.com. And now it's on the top of the page. So when you go to homevoiceoverstudio.com, it's right there. And for $25, I will analyze your audio. If your studio is set up and you got your mic and you got your interface and you've set up and in your closet or wherever it is that you're recording, and you want to make sure that it is up to snuff, that it sounds what it's supposed to sound like, go over to homevoiceoverstudio.com. See, it's actually right there on the top of the page.
Which way do I point?
That's right, that way.
Bump the mic while you're at it. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, I am so proud of this new website. All your questions can be answered there. You can contact me there. You can send, your audio, and I will be thrilled to analyze your audio and talk to anybody that's done that with me. I'm very thorough, making sure that you sound the way you're supposed to sound, and that's really important. Anyway, let's get into your tech update this week, even though you seem to have drifted into it already. But
it's a teaser.
Yeah, you'll notice that on the promo from last week that we had Noveen Crumbie, what was behind us, it was the Nev 88M USB interface that was, I'm like, it's $1245?
Yes.
God, that is an expensive interface.
Is the $1,245 USB interface. And it pretty much does what you think it does. It has 2 microphones that go in. It's got a volume controller for headphones. It's got 1 for speakers. That's pretty much it. That might remind you of another little cute red box that many of you have in your studio.
So what are you getting for an extra $1,200?
What are you getting? Well, you're getting the spirit of Rupert Neve, who's probably rolling around in his grave right now as he watches his mic preamps end up in a USB interface. I seriously doubt that this was something that they could have ever released until he passed on. God, rest in peace. But he's one of the most renowned mic preamp designers in the history of audio recording. And you're getting his legacy in a little box. It also has USB interface, of course, I said that, but it can be a standalone mic preamp as well. So if you don't want to record through the USB, it has in and outs on the back, so it can act as just a normal standalone mic preamp as well. It also has ADAT inputs on the back. So what does that mean? It means it just gives you some expandability. So that means now if you need to branch out into more elaborate production, you can plug in 8 channels of preamps and turn it into a 10-channel interface. So it's overkill, I know, but this is what people ask about all the time. Have you heard about the new Neve? I'm sure it sounds incredible. If it's built as well as it should be at this price point, it should last for many, many years. And again, because it can be just powered by USB, but you don't have to use the computer, even if the digital interface technology evolves beyond this thing in 20 years, it will still be a usable mic preamp. You'll still have a Neve preamp. So, there's something to that. Moving right along. The next thing on my queue, let me scroll around here. Oh, this is just a little sidebar thing. My assistant was noticing that uploading to Google Drive or Dropbox, the usual ways that we might transfer files around, was really slow for her. And I expected that because she's on a cable modem, so her upload speed is throttled like 20 megabits per second. But then she sent me a WeTransfer link out of the blue, and I was like, oh, why WeTransfer? She said, I don't know why, and I don't know how, but the files were able to upload to the WeTransfer site much faster for her. Now, I don't know if this was a coincidence. I don't know if it was timing. I don't know what happened, what magic was. But anyway, if you find that sending files over these other methods is really slow for you, I guess give WeTransfer a try. Maybe that will make a difference to you because I don't know. Again, it doesn't make any sense. Your upload speeds are limited by your internet bandwidth at your studio. But for whatever reason, she said it was much faster. So who knows what kind of interesting thing is going on there, but you might try it if you want a faster way to send files. Another thing that came down the pipeline after all the hullabaloo of NAMM Music Trade Show, as a lot of companies started releasing new products, but these products are becoming more and more web streaming, live casting, or what they're generically now calling content creator friendly. And this is one of those things. This is the frameworks. Didn't expect that to get bigger when I clicked on the X. Expected it to get smaller. And I'm trying to shrink it, and it ain't happening. I'll click. Oh, that's not an X. That's a get bigger button. There we go. The frameworks content creation desk mount stand says coming soon. Looks pretty nifty. If you are doing more and more stuff where you're being directed on camera, well, it's got a built-in light. If you want to have your phone at eye level because maybe you read script from it, or you use your phone as your webcam, because many of us know the best webcam you own is actually your phone. It's got a place for that. It's also got a place for a tablet computer, or this looks like it could also hold a script, an actual printed script or a book. I think it's pretty freaking cool myself. I think it's a great looking design. And I use Gator Frameworks products, and I have their mic arm right here, and it's built really, really well. Here's the business end of it. So you can see it can hold scripts, it can hold displays, it can hold all kinds of stuff. And
it reminds me I have a dentist appointment this week.
It's a bit like that, except probably the dentist version would be $11,000.
Yeah, there is that.
Right. So anyway, I think it's a cool, I love rigs like this, and $170 is shockingly affordable for the amount of features that thing comes with. So that's something neat that I've seen coming down the pipe. Another thing is I was just told today that by Jeff Cohen, who's a regular in my, I have a clubhouse for clients of George the Tech, specifically George. That's how I say my name. And Jeff is a regular in there, and he mentioned today about recording into iPhone and iPad is easier if you're using Apogee Meta Recorder. My problem with recording with iPads and iPhones, Dan, is most of the apps, at least Twisted Wave, doesn't have a clear delineation of what you're actually recording. Is it recording the USB thing you plugged in, the USB mic you plugged in, or is it recording from the mic on the computer? And it seems like until you hit record and play it back, you don't know. But Meta Recorder actually does have a prompt. It's telling you which input you're recording from, which if you want to rely on recording to an iPhone or iPad might be a really helpful thing for you. So if you mainly just want to have a great way to capture audio, you're not concerned with doing a lot of editing. Maybe you're just going to Dropbox it to your desktop for editing later or something. Meta Recorder looks pretty cool. It has a cool trick up its sleeve too. You can record on 4 phones or 4 iOS devices, and it keeps track of, I guess, some kind of time code. So all those files will be in lock sync later automatically when it comes time to edit. So I thought that was a pretty cool thing. Obviously, it's for video production people, but it's a cool thing nonetheless. I thought it was worth mentioning. Thanks again, Jeff, for mentioning that. And lastly, and I will not go into gross detail.
Not too much detail.
I just got one of these. This is, it's too much light. I need a product camera so you can, how about that? There we go. This little thing, which doesn't look like much at all, is a marvel of technology. This is called the Ear Cleaner with Camera. This is basically an endoscope that you can use yourself at home. No, it is not for going internally. It's just for your ears, although I guess it could go in other openings.
Don't even go there.
But it is amazing because for a few things. One, the camera on it is razor sharp, crisp, like a macro 1080p camera, right? And it's inside a teeny little tube. It is very small. It is quite amazing. It has a light, so obviously you can see where the sun don't shine, and it does it really well. And it has a little scoop on the end. It lets you extract things that you find, which I did today. Let me tell you.
And what did you find?
I found
your
more than I bargained for, but you really might want to consider this. Now, you got to be really, really careful because you are literally sticking a metal object into your ear canal. You have to be super careful, but I was blown away with how well it worked. It's even wireless. You don't even have to have a cord. It's Wi-Fi video from this to your mobile phone. So you have the phone in one hand and you got this thing in the other, and you're manipulating it like you're tuning a radio antenna, you know, and it is the craziest thing. And then to top it all off, $22 Amazon Prime. How is that even possible? I don't even understand. It's crazy. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm not going to show the video that the app captured of my ear cleaning today, but just trust me. Do it yourself and entertain yourself endlessly. And anybody else who finds extracting things from the human body entertaining. And I know there's a lot of you out there who enjoy this and find it very satisfying. So.
Yeah, nothing more exciting than watching a gallbladder operation.
It's kind of like it is the closest any of you are going to come to operating on your own body. It is very, very interesting.
All right. And on that note,
you're going to talk a little bit about acoustics.
I'll try and talk a little bit about it. Seeing as we're talking about ears.
You said determining. That is a challenge. How do you measure or determine what sounds good acoustically?
Measure? Who measures? I know you measure. You go in with all sorts of stuff.
I honestly, I don't.
Okay, good to hear that.
I use my ears.
Yeah, that's what our ears are for. The fact of the matter is George and I know what it's supposed to sound like, as we were talking about at the top of the show. When I go into somebody's closet or they're like, "Can you help me set up?" and I go in there, I like to say I sniff around. I did a lot of home visits the last couple of weeks, and was building. One person had a great walk-in closet, but it's totally bare. There's no shelves. It's just, and it was kind of an odd shape.
It was a blank canvas.
It was yes, exactly. And they had a lot of not the prime type of acoustical foam. It was the cheap stuff. And I looked at it and I'm like, all right. And what I will do is I will talk and I will move in a bunch of different directions and I will listen to what the reflection is. And then we set up the foam. We set up all the things that I know basically should work. And then I listen again. And I listen for nodes, and a node is basically where you hear some bass reflex or something that is, it doesn't sound like you're outside. There's something that doesn't sound quite right, and you look and see where are those things. Do you put a bass trap there? Do you just put some more foam up in that spot? The thing that I find that generally it will affect the acoustics more than anything else, aside from getting the foam on the walls and stuff like that, or moving blankets or some of the higher quality stuff, is the ceiling. And a lot of people don't get that. If you've got like an 8-foot ceiling and you're 5 feet tall, you got a big echo chamber above you, and that has to be treated. One of the things that I will do, and George does this as well, is we create what's called a cloud. Something that lowers the acoustical size of the room and the height of the ceiling without moving the ceiling. And I've been building more and more of these clouds. They're real easy to do. But what you do is you create a frame that will fit inside the closet or in the room you're in. And then you lower it until you find that you have a nice neutral sound. And what is a neutral sound? A neutral sound is one without any echo. All you hear is your voice and not anything reverberating
echo
around.
And no boomy muddiness sound.
Exactly.
Sound.
Right. And it's still a matter of turning your head and going, well, what does it sound like over here? And what does it sound like over here? Here's another one. What does it sound like when you stand up? And what does it sound like when you sit down? And as you stand up, does that change anything? And by doing all those things, you find the sweet spot in your particular room for how it's supposed to be set up. And even after I'll hang a cloud, it's still like, all right, where am I going to turn? And where does it, and you just find this sweet spot where there's nothing coming either way. No measurements. It's all done with your ears and what's between your ears, which is your brain. It takes a little bit of experience, and that's why it's important to work with somebody who actually knows what it's supposed to sound like, which would be me or Mr. Whittam, who's over there. See, now Sue could change these and I'd be pointing in the right direction.
Is he over there? No.
Yeah, he's over there. Yeah, you're over there. See, now if I just never use my left hand and point to the left. So when you're working with somebody, it's we generally use our ears and don't have we're not acousticians. Did I say that right?
I think so. Acousticians.
Yeah. I've actually met acousticians.
I think it's actually just acoustician.
Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I've created an entire new ology here.
It's okay. I love it.
Yeah. And that's essentially what you do. But you also, you're building, some of the voiceover palaces around here. But how do you do what's your method?
No, I guess I've tuned enough of these small spaces that I have some kind of formulaic. I wouldn't say formulas, but I just have systems that work. But the hard part about the ceiling, if you're doing it yourself, is it can be a little more difficult than just putting things on the wall, right? There's a little bit more. If you're going to DIY a ceiling system, it's just a little harder hanging things on a ceiling, right? So, some of the companies do include or do have an additional ceiling mounting kit. And that's what you want to look for. Like ATS Acoustics, for example, has an accessory ceiling mounting hardware kit. And yes, you could go to the hardware store, you could gather all these bits and you could do it, or you could just get a kit that has everything in it that you need and will probably make it easier for you, like allowing you to help you level it, change the height of it, etc. I just find using very long zip ties, it works very well. I just run a big long zip tie loop and hang the panel from that, and it lets you fine tune the angle and stuff. And I don't find I'm hanging a cloud down more than maybe 6 to 12 inches from the ceiling, rarely more. If you have a high ceiling and you're sitting down, you can make it lower. Like Dan said, you can make it pretty low. But the biggest problem we have was low ceilings. When people are in a abnormally low ceilinged space, like a whisper room, really anything that has that low ceiling, that's our biggest challenge. We need to get you away from that ceiling and sitting down or even leaning on a stool or something like that might be the best thing. But Dan nailed it when he said there are sweet spots in there. I'm amazed how good a booth can sound if the mic ends up in that sweet spot, that node. That's the tricky part, finding that. But if it works out for your mic placement, boy, it really can sound amazing.
Yeah. And then when I'm working with people and doing audio analysis, I'm like, what direction are you facing? Is there noise coming from a certain direction? In which like a motorcycle going by. If the noise is coming from behind you, your mic is here. Remember, it only picks up from one side. Try turning the mic towards the noise, and that can get rid of it. I mean, there's all sorts of little tricks and stuff like that. And those are the things that we can help you with. If you don't understand them, we're happy to consult with you and make sure that it sounds what it's supposed to sound like. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break right here and get to your questions, of which are starting to pile up here, which is great. If you've got a question, throw them in the chat room. Jeff Holman is still in there writing down all your questions and relaying them to us so we can answer them here on Voiceover Body Shop. So don't go away. We'll be right back after these important messages.
Yeah, hi, this is Carlos Alazraqui, the voice of Rocco, and you're watching Voiceover Body Shop.
It's travel time, and whether you're relaxing on a beach, sweltering in a car, or waiting for your Group 9 to board that already delayed airplane, nothing calms one down like a good read. Why not read the best real-life story entirely about voiceover from Harlan Hogan, celebrating his 46 years as a card-carrying SAG-AFTRA member? Reflecting the quantum change that has occurred in the way voiceovers are recorded and cast in recent years, this updated second edition describes the advantages and disadvantages of auditioning and recording from home studios for clients around the world. There's useful advice after every chapter dealing with Harlan's journey from terminally shy kid to voiceover legend, new and expanded session stories from the trenches, how to make professional recordings at home and on the road, how to create demos and auditions that win jobs, how to market yourself, all about agents, unions, and fees. VoiceOver, Tales and Techniques of a Voice Actor, autographed, and it makes a great present at $19.95, only at voiceoveressentials.com.
Hey everybody, it's time for our spot with Source Elements, the creators of Source Connect. I'll tell you, the pandemic has come and, well, it keeps going. It's not gone. Oh, let's not fool ourselves. And this is really a critical tool for being able to catch those really the big, not the low-hanging fruit of the business, the high tree of the voiceover business, the best work. it really, a lot of it is being done on Source Connect. And now it feels like there's like a connection between agents and Source Connect in a way, because they're the ones that tend to be telling folks, listen, the casting wants Source Connect, the production wants Source Connect, so get Source Connect. So if you're not working at the agent level, Source Connect for you might be something that you want to aspire to, or even at least sign up and get a 15-day free trial and practice with it. Learn how to use it, understand the idiosyncrasies of setting it up, and be ready. Add it to your skill set of things that you know how to do. You may not need it today. You may not need it in a year. But when you do, you're going to be really glad you're familiar with it, because it is the number one way that studios like to record voice actors from afar. It works for their workflow. It fits into the production. It just makes everything work the way they like to work. So check it out. Head over to source-elements.com and tell them we sent you. We'd appreciate it. Let's get to those tech questions right after this.
Well, hello there. I bet you weren't expecting to hear some big-voiced announcer guy on your new orientation training for Snapchat, were you?
This is Virgin Radio. Well, okay, we're not that innocent.
There's jeans for wearing and there's jeans for working. Dickies, because I ain't here to look pretty.
She's a champion of progressive values, a leader for California, and a voice for America.
It's smart. It's a phone. It's a smartphone. But it's so much more. The files are ready. Don't forget to pick up the eggs. What time is hockey practice? Check out this song.
It's the end of the road for Rick.
Just you and me, Rick.
When hope is lost.
The i8 from BMW. Who said saving the planet couldn't be stylish?
Hey, it's J. Michael Collins. Bet you think I'm going to try and sell you a demo now, huh? I think they speak for themselves. But I will give you my email. It's jmichael@jmcvoiceover.com. Now, if Dan will stop waxing his mustache for a minute, we'll get back to the show.
This is Ariana Ratner, and you're enjoying VoiceOver Body Shop with Dan Leonard and George Whittam. VOBS.TV.
And we're back with tons of questions about home voiceover studios, which is what we talk about. Anyway, just adjusting my volume just a little bit, making sure it sounds the way it's supposed to sound like. Anyway, let's get started here with Allie Hurley, voiceover alchemist. Does that mean she changes everything into gold? I don't know.
Well, if she turns her wallet into gold doing voiceover, then
there we go.
More power to you.
All right. Well, you were talking about this. You take it.
She says, I have an iLok Access Online. Can I still get a portable one? And can I have both? Ooh, I could do a show on iLok. There are so many weird things about iLok. So here's the thing with iLok. They have 3 places that the license can be stored, right? 1 is the computer itself. 2 is the iLok key, which looks like one of these. Here's the newest edition of it. It's very small and sleek. This is an iLok key. It looks exactly like a USB thumb drive. It essentially is. It just has an encrypted layer that makes it secure, that you cannot copy and move the iLok license without their software, right? What the whole point of it is to make the license transportable between systems, but very, very secure for the vendors, so that Source Elements isn't having their license stolen, duplicated, and spread around the internet. Believe me, this happens a lot to a lot of companies. So that's the point of it. Now, so I said you could put it on your Mac, you can put it on the iLok. The third way is there's an iLok cloud now. And the thing is, not every application or plugin supports the cloud storage, unfortunately. Source Connect does not yet support the cloud version. So you can only really choose to have it in one of 2 places, either the iLok or the computer itself. And you cannot have it in both at the same time. That's the thing. You can't just make a dupe of your license, a duplicate, and have it in both, because now you'd be able to give the license to somebody else. So that's how it works. It only can be in one place at any one time. And unfortunately, the cloud method is not one of them yet. I'm sure it will be, but it isn't yet.
Works for me. I mean, I just type it in and it turns on. I don't even need my iLok anymore.
Yeah, it's licensed to your computer, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly how it works.
Yeah. Moving it to another computer,
It's not that hard. I've had to do it for folks. If you know how to do it, it's easy if you know how. Right? It takes.
I've had to ask you 5 or 6 times how to do it.
It takes like 2 minutes, but if you haven't done it once in 5 years, you go, oh my God, how am I going to do this? Now it's not that bad. There's a thing called iLock Manager. It's automatically installed on your computer when you install Source Connect. You don't even know you have it, but it's there. There's a little quirky, user interface. Once you understand it, it makes a lot of sense, and it lets you move the license from one computer to your license storage area, and then on another computer you can go grab it and put it back on the other computer. I know it's annoying, but that's how iLock works.
All right.
Another one. Is this a follow-up? Can I have both? I was told not to stick. Oh, here's another question from Allie on a different topic altogether.
Yeah.
You want to read that one?
Yeah, sure. I was told not to stick your foam directly on the walls, to allow a bit of space between the foam and the wall. Maybe put a thin piece of wood strip on the wall first and stick foam on the wood. Well, that's one way.
I mean, sticking it on the wall is annoying if you have to ever take it down again.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a variable here. Do you rent or do you own? Right. And putting foam on the wall. Now, there's a number of things you can do. Now, they suggest you use this spray adhesive, which will destroy your wall.
That's why you would use wood or cardboard. Or foam core or something as a backer. Yeah,
exactly. You create a bunch of different panels using the foam, using the adhesive, and that way you can hang them on the wall non-destructively, as we like to say.
Little nails,
with nails or a thumbtack, or those 3M command strips, which are really great. You get the really heavy duty ones though, because those you can. They're hooked on with Velcro, and you pull those off and you just pull the strips and they come off and they don't destroy the wall. And it gives you the ability to move the panels around a little bit to make sure that you can, acoustically set and tune the room the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, you don't glue them right to the wall. How many times, George, have we walked into some place where it's like, well, I got to move the foam, and then it's like you glued it to the wall?
Yeah, that's what they tell you to do. They tell you to buy spray glue or this foam tack adhesive that's like liquid nails or something. And when you take the foam down, what you get is like these squiggles on the wall where the glue is, with the foam that peels off. The back of the foam has got big tears in it. It is a mess. Yeah, I learned that lesson a long time ago. So that's the reason why we say to put it on something, wood or whatever it is, first. When I first read the question, I was thinking, wait, why would you? What's the acoustical reason for doing that? Oh no, it's not an acoustical thing. It's just a practical
cosmetic thing. Yeah, absolutely,
exactly.
Yeah, no, foam core works great. Cardboard. You buy a new TV, save the cardboard, or a refrigerator. Those things are great for making your sound panels. Then and you can like I said, you can put them up there and you can move them. And
this reminds me, one time somebody ordered one of those Oralex acoustic foam packages. It just came in a big cardboard box.
Right.
They don't compress their foam, right? They like their foam to be intact. And then the box turned into the backer. It was enough cardboard that once I cut it into a bunch of pieces,
it's great.
It was included with the box. So there you go. That was value added.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really, it comes in that big box. Why didn't anybody think of that? Yeah. Anyway. Next question from Play the Voice Real Kids VO Family. Why do some clients want WAV files at different sampling rate and resolution bit? How big of a difference does it really make? I think that's more of a question of who's on the other end.
Yeah.
And if the different bit rates and stuff generally has to do with whether they're doing video or audio and stuff like that. Because in video, generally they like 48K for doing that.
Oh, for the sample rate, yeah. Video is 48K typically.
Right.
44.1 kilohertz is other audio medium. It came from CDs.
Right.
Back in the 80s. That's where those sample rate numbers came from.
Right.
CDs were 44.1. DATs and video was 48. And I don't know the reasoning why they went two different ways, but
I think it's a geeky thing. Oh, it sounds better. I don't know anybody out there that can tell the difference unless you're going down to 8,000 or something like that.
Yeah, really low sample rates or really low bit depths. So like if we would do everything at 16-bit, right? Now we're encouraging you to go to 24-bit.
Yeah.
But 8-bit, you will notice an audible difference immediately. You'll notice there's a lot more noise in the audio, and
right, or you'll sound like you're on the phone.
Yeah, it sounds pretty. It sounds like the crappy samples of music instruments from the 80s. It doesn't sound good.
Right.
So higher than that though, higher than 24-bit, 48K is really unusual, and I think that's really going to be for like video game producers who are particularly picky people. Particularly picky people, and they really want very high bit rates and high sample rates because they're hung up on numbers.
Right. And not
you
on...
can't hear the friggin' once it goes above 44.1, I'm telling you, you cannot,
especially on a single track mono voice.
Yeah, with a voice.
Right. And it's far more dependent on the acoustical signature of the room you're in and your levels than anything else.
Yeah, if you're recording a concert piano, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Or if you're recording a drum kit, okay. Huge ranges of frequencies and volumes, but yeah,
right.
It's overkill.
Yeah. If you're recording, Jascha Heifetz, who I don't even know if he's still alive, playing violin, you want
to get
every little bit you can. Yeah. So does it make a difference? Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, no, 16-bit 44.1, you can get away with it. We prefer 24-bit 44.1 or 48 kilohertz pretty much across the board these days. If you leave your settings at that and record absolutely everything at that setting, no worries. You can always resample or resave or convert to anything else from there, and no one's going to know that you started with a different sample rate. So don't worry about converting or saving it as another version. They're not going to tell.
Yeah. Now, this is an interesting question from Jonathan Grant, who's joining us on YouTube. Hey, Jonathan. He says, I'm finding that my 416, not his MKH 416, his 416 is very sibilant. It's not the mic. And it's driving me nuts.
Yeah, it's kind of the mic.
Yeah, okay. When adjusting...
Sorry, you finished. Sorry.
Okay, well, we'll discuss. When adjusting placement, I find myself either off mic or increasing gain due to distance, which opens me up to some room ring. Okay, well, we got a couple of different things going on in there. You've got an acoustical issue if you've got a ring, and it also means that you're probably over projecting a little bit. And the louder you talk, the more the acoustics of the room come into play.
Yeah, you can really hear the room now, can't you?
Yeah. But not when you're at the proper distance from the mic and you're using your indoor voice. I find that sibilance, and it's just me, and George may have a slightly different take on this. Sibilance tends to be from over projecting and overusing all of the elements of your mouth. If you relax, and there's some people that are sibilant. Yeah, maybe they just have the shape of their tongue is just a little bit different from everybody else. I mean, everything's different on everybody. So some people can be a little bit sibilant. Is it the 416 that makes you sibilant? The 416 will pick you up as you exist. That's what it does. And if you're sibilant, it's going to pick it up. Will adjusting the mic direction change that a whole lot? I've never found that. But George and I agree on how a 416 should be placed. Your turn. Go.
Well, this is not a 416, but it's a stand-in for one. It's a Rode NT.
It's a visual aid. Yeah.
Visual aid. So I'll do it from the side. If you're speaking with the mic pretty much right down the barrel, just slightly off so that you don't pop it, this is where you're going to get the most sibilance. You're going to get the most everything, right? It's going to hear the most mouth noises and mouth clicks. If you start doing this and bring it up at a higher angle, it will still clearly pick up your voice, but now the mic isn't pointing inside the mechanism. When it's pointing into your mouth, it's picking up the mechanism of your voice, the jaw movement, all the mouth smacks and clicks, and likely the sibilance too. So starting to rotate the mic upward, you're going to get less and less of the pickup of all those things. But yeah, it's a bright mic. It's meant to pick up voice clearly over background noise and cut so that voice can be heard. And so when you compare it to, say, a U87 or more of the flat studio mics, it definitely will seem noticeably more sibilant, but the mic isn't sibilant. You are. And that's just, we all are. We all are to a degree. And it takes practice to tune the sibilance out of your performance. But it can be done. And great voice actors, great voice actors know how to control that and prevent it from becoming overbearing.
Yeah. Now he says, interestingly, I don't have the same issue with the TLM 103. Totally different mic. And the 103 tends to be a little warmer, a little bit.
It's a little smoother at the top end. Although I find it to be sibilant on other voices. So it really has to do with where the bumps and the frequency response of the mic are now, right? So the 103 maybe has brightness at the top end and the 416 more at the upper mid range. And
I just happen to have my 416.
Oh, no way.
Sheet. Yes.
Well, look at that. So you see how the 416 has a pretty broad, wide boost at the top end. If you have any sibilant issues anywhere in that range, then that mic's going to add 3 to 5 dB more of that. Chances are there's something in that range you don't want to be louder. So thanks. That's really cool to have because the diagram on their site is really tiny. Every time I look at it, it's like so tiny. So
I have no idea why I shoved that in my desk there, but
that's handy.
Oh,
that's really handy.
Show that.
Yeah, no, the 103 is a little smoother, a little flatter, and just a different mic. I mean, in some circumstances, they can sound really similar based on where it's placed, the room acoustics. And other times, as you're finding out, they sound very, very different.
Right. And one's a large diaphragm condenser and the other one's a small diaphragm condenser. So, but there's the 416 is a totally unique beast.
It really is.
Yeah.
This is the closest to it being, I would say, a knockoff of it in terms of sound quality. It's an RF designed mic, RF capsule technology. RF meaning that it uses radio frequency to modulate the sound waves. I don't know all the technique, but this uses the same technology here. So this is a pretty similar mic, but it's also 78 grams. It weighs almost nothing. It's kind of bizarre. But anyway, that if you're going to hold a mic on a boom pole 16 feet long, you want a light mic. Anyway, moving right along.
416 is not that heavy either.
No.
Ron M. George did an Adobe Audition primer last year. Now he's done Twisted Wave, Advanced Guide to Recording External Trash.
I think something got into the message that wasn't supposed to be there, but I like it.
Yeah.
Recording external trash. Got it. Okay.
Okay. When will George do an advanced guide for Adobe Audition?
Already been done. In fact, Dan,
sort
you
of
were the guest on it.
Yeah.
Dan and I guessed it. Dan guessed it on that with me last year. And it's on the same site. If you go to georgethe.tech/webinars, scroll down and you'll see it in the Adobe section. We did an advanced one.
Yeah, no. And we enjoy doing them. Webinars are fun. They take preparation and it's teaching a class, and doing them on Zoom is, or however we do them, it helps to be interactive with the audience and stuff like that. But these are all, we do these webinars on different, DAWs to show you that they all sound the same. It's the workflow more than anything else with most of these packages in these platforms. And we find that Adobe Audition was designed for doing what we do, which is voiceover. It's why it's called, originally it was called Sound Booth, and then they mixed it together with Audition, which was made for music. But, with the spectrogram and all the stuff in there, it really is a wonderful tool for doing voiceover. It has the right workflow for doing that, as opposed to Pro Tools. And people say, well, Pro Tools is, the industry standard, of which we're not talking about the same industry. If you're a recording engineer doing a lot of multi-track recording, Pro Tools is fabulous for that. If you're doing one track, what do you need 10,000 tracks and all the other stuff that it does? It's not going to change the way you sound. It really isn't. And people are like, well, I'm buying the most expensive one with all the most expensive stuff, therefore it's going to be better.
I can tell you that also doesn't work out for computers. Now, I mean,
really.
The new Macs are all pretty quiet, but I remember people buying these supercharged high-end video editing monster Mac Pros, MacBook Pros, etc. And the fans were making noise like crazy, trying to keep these things cooled down. PCs too. these gamer PCs. Oh, I bought a gamer computer. It should be amazing for recording voiceover. High-end overkill processing, GPU, et cetera, ain't going to make a better recording when the fan can't keep it cool. Exactly.
Remember, we had the Beast here. We had a PC running the show for a while. It had a liquid cooling system. I'm like,
that's
wow.
Right.
And of course, it had a little neon light in it, so you could see all the. Was it neon or LED? But it was
I think it had LEDs or something. It looked like a gamer's PC.
Yeah, it was like a Frankenstein's lab in there. There's stuff moving around. Yeah. Let's see here. Grace Newton, you get this one.
Oh, man. My mic has been getting a buzz.
Yeah.
But only when the power supply to my MacBook Air M1 is plugged into the AC outlet.
Well.
Any ideas? Wow, it sounds like you've got some pretty dirty power at your place. I don't know what else is plugged in. That's the other thing is, do you have anything else plugged into your Mac through USB or otherwise that would also be eventually plugged into the wall? So if there's multiple ways that power is interconnected to it, that can cause it. But if you literally have nothing plugged in except your interface to USB and your power to the wall, and now you get buzz, you've got some pretty dirty power in your home, and you might, if unplugging the power while you record is irritating to you, you might need to get a power conditioner. The ones that are actually true power conditioners that actually have all the filtering and everything inside, they're generally going to be $200 minimum and up. Just those surge suppressor power strips and stuff don't cut it.
Yeah.
You're going to need something with power conditioning. Right. So that may be helpful to you. But there may be something on that circuit, like a refrigerator or something that's making noise on that power circuit.
I might also suggest, because I had this one last week, someone was like, I got a buzz on my mic. I'm like, change to the USB cable. Hadn't thought of that.
Uh-huh.
It's like, well, I got to do this. And I tried that. I'm like, have you changed the cable?
How did that work out?
I solved the problem.
Awesome. There you go.
Like, boom.
Start with the cheap stuff.
While I was
USB.
having lunch, I'm like, change the USB cable. Oh, okay.
I love it. I mean, sometimes the cheapest thing is the fix. So Dan was a good point. Replace cables and everything else before you go buying $200, $300, $500 boxes, magic boxes.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Do I need a new interface? Well, what's the algorithm of what's the troubleshoot on this? Okay. What goes into what? Try this. Okay. Is it the microphone? Unplug the mic, plug in another microphone. You still getting the buzz? Okay. We know it's not the microphone,
and if the outlet tester she's talking about is one of those little things with 3 little lights on the back that tell you whether you've wired it correctly, that's not a test that's going to be helpful to you, Grace. That's only going to tell you that your electrician wired the outlet correctly.
Yeah, or
but that's not going to tell you much about spurious noise, RFI, junk on the electrical wiring itself. That's not going to help you there. So
yeah, a lot of that has to do with the insulation on a cable and stuff like that. And that's why I was thinking, well, maybe the USB cable is gone. I mean, if you look at the USB cable you power your phone in your car with, it's amazing how that gets twisted and burned out really quick. So it could be something simple like that.
She also said she got a Mac Hyperdrive dock that I got at the same time as my MacBook. Now, a lot of these docks have power delivery, it's called. So it says on the package PD. So if it has that, your charger for your MacBook doesn't plug into your MacBook, it plugs into the dock. So it goes power into dock into Mac. If you didn't try that also and see if that stops the noise or makes it worse.
Right.
So
really
good luck. Sorry, Grace. That's frustrating.
Yeah. Okay. Douglas Voice Guy, great to see you again. Which USB interfaces allow you to bypass their internal preamps using another preamp between the mic and the interface? Well, see, now my question is why? I think that, I think George, you'll probably agree with me. The reason that, what's the difference between interfaces is generally the preamp in it. And we find that even, for $150, you use a Scarlett, by Focusrite or anything, the Yamahas or the seeing the brains that Steinberg, thank you.
Yeah.
Their preamps are fine. They're quiet. They have lots of gain. The new ones, every generation seems to have a whole lot more gain to them. Was it the new
the Vocaster?
Yeah, the Vocaster. Audient makes one that they have like 70 dB a gain,
right,
of quiet gain. I mean, that if that's anything that we've seen change over the last 5-6 years, that's one of the things. And if you got a lot of quiet gain, off something that's less than $200, what else do you need? But why would you do that? But do they do that? And generally, because I just happen to have a 2i2 sitting here. See, I keep all this stuff handy. Yeah. Well, that and a few other ones. They've all gone into a big box now. But
me too.
How do you bypass that?
You can't. The thing is, on the Scarlett, you can't truly bypass the preamp. It looks like you can because there's a 1/4-inch jack.
Yeah.
So it looks like a line in, but it's still passing through that circuit. It will work, and it will work fine. You just have to ask yourself, is the preamp you're plugging into the Scarlett adding anything that the Scarlett would take away? Like, is it doing something magical to the sound that would be lost by going into the Scarlett? Probably not. And are you going to hear the difference when you use that magic box that you're plugging in? It just depends what you're doing with it. To answer your question in a more direct way, yes, they do exist. And yes, they tend to be much more expensive because they're specialty tools. All these Scarletts that are printed in batches of 10,000 or however many they make are marketed to songwriters, and everybody is a songwriter, right? They're made for voiceover and podcasters. Everybody's doing this stuff. So they're selling them by the bushel. But somebody that wants something that unique and specific is much, much less, much fewer people are buying them. So there are just so few of them out there. Like the Apollo, for example, has a way to bypass or disable the preamps completely. The Apogee stuff, I mean, he wants a better existing preamp. So
like an Avalon.
Avalon,
it's not going to change the way you read copy.
As Bo Weaver used to say, it looks really cool in the rack. Do you know what Bo Weaver records all of his work through now, by the way, guys? A 416 plugged directly into a Scarlett 2i2. It is true. We have video and audio proof of him doing it. But an Avalon looks really cool, and it's got really big knobs on it, and it lights up, and I get it. And to a rarefied air of you out there that can hear it, then good on you. It's the point of Avalon preamps is not to add distortion or coloration, by the way. They're designed to be accurate. And that's what the preamp and the Focusrite's designed to do. So it's not going to sound all that different, if at all. Really isn't. We've done shootouts and comparisons and on and on. There are 50 different ways to make a bigger sound difference than the preamp. One of those is, how far away from the mic are you speaking at that particular moment?
Exactly.
How are you more off axis? How are you tilting your head? What's the humidity? This stuff all likely has more of an effect on the sound.
It's your dog
than the preamp. It's your dog growling at you. There's a million things in your home and your studio and your environment that have an influence over the sound, more likely audible than the preamp. So anyway, sorry to burst your bubble, but
that's
kind of what we've discovered having done this for a long, long time.
Right. All righty. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for all your questions this week. The ones we have time for. Anyway, thanks for all your questions. If you have a question for us, by the way, you can write to us at theguys@vobs.tv. And with that, we can do you get priority. If you write in during the week with a question, it goes number one in the queue.
Always. Yeah.
Always. So, but we also appreciate people watching the show live and giving us those questions. Anyway, thank you for all your questions. That will do it for that particular section. And we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back to wrap everything up. And I can let Mishka in the room right after this.
Hi, this is Bill Farmer, and you are watching Voiceover Body Shop. It's great.
Hey there, I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and with my company VO Heroes and my team of coaches and my community of voiceover talent, we guide voiceover actors along their journey. And you may be watching VOBS here and not nearly as far along as many of the other people who are watching. You may not even have started yet. And we actually specialize in helping you do just that. So if you're watching all the stuff going on here on VOBS and going, I have no idea what they're talking about, I don't know, but I really want to do this, I'd really like to help you. Please go to voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start. And you can take our Getting Started in Voiceover class, which tells you everything you need to get started as a voice talent. And I'd love to hold your hand along the way and help you with that journey. Again, voheroes.com/start. That's voheroes.com/start.
In these modern times, every business needs a website. When you need a website for your voice acting business, there's only one place to go. Like the name says, voiceactorwebsites.com. Their experience in this niche webmaster market gives them the ability to quickly and easily get you from concept to live online in a much shorter time. When you contact voiceactorwebsites.com, their team of experts and designers really get to know you and what your needs are. They work with you to highlight what you do. Then they create an easily navigable website for your potential clients to get the big picture of who you are and how your voice is the one for them. Plus, VoiceActorWebsites.com has other great resources, like their practice script library and other resources to help your voiceover career flourish. Don't try it yourself. Go with the pros. VoiceActorWebsites.com, where your VO website shouldn't be a pain in the you-know-what.
Before time began, there was VOBS.TV. Watch or else.
All righty. Yeah, I let Mishka in. She's been very clingy lately. She was like crawling into my pockets yesterday. I'm not quite sure what, because it was Father's Day. She's like, oh, Daddy, I love you so much. Anyway, next week on this show, it's going to be the 4th of July. So I think we're just going to run this one for 2 weeks. So you have lots of chances to watch this.
Go back and review.
That's right. And
there's a lot to see.
Or we've got, this is number 81. You can watch all 81 VOBS Tech Talks.
That's what I mean.
Review
the content. There's a lot.
There's a lot there. It just goes, cripes, we've been doing this 11 years. You know, you can see the change in technology. You can see my mustache get grayer. It's pretty amazing. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, who are our donors this week? We have Robert Leadham,
Stephen Chandler,
Casey Clack,
Jonathan. You're watching the show and I said your name wrong. Jonathan
Grant, Tom Pinto,
Shelley Avellino,
Patty Gibbons,
Greg Thomas,
a Duck Tour voice,
Antland Productions,
Uncle Roy, and Martha Kahn, who I know is out there watching and asking lots of questions tonight as well. Hey, go on over to homevoiceoverstudio.com and check out the new website. I mean, it's the same address. It's just, it's been updated and actually works now. Not that it wasn't working before, but now you can find the Specimen Collection Cup at the top. If you want to go work with George, you go over to
GeorgeThe.tech and check out the webinars page. That's /webinars. We got the Twisted Wave Advanced coming up in just a couple of days, June 28th. Actually, that's tomorrow if you're watching this played back. Almost out of time to catch that one. And we do have a 20% off coupon code for any bookings and webinars, VOBS Fan 2022. You can apply at the time of your order.
All righty. We need to thank our sponsors as well, like Mishka and Harlan Hogan's Voiceover Essentials,
Voiceover Extra,
Source Elements,
VOHeroes.com,
VoiceActorWebsites.com, and JMC Demos. Let's see if maybe that was synced up. Who knows? Anyway, our thanks to Jeff Holman for doing a yeoman's job in the chat rooms tonight and getting us all those questions. There were lots of them. We love getting them. Sue Merlino from her office in Burbank, directing us from remote. Next time after the 4th of July break, I think we're going to be back in the studio.
Stranger things could happen.
Positive anymore.
June 11th, I think, or no, July 11th. I think
July
that
11th.
is.
I
Yeah.
think we're going to get together and we'll make a party out of it. And we got to find a guest who promised us once we went back in the studio he would come. So
Wait, will there be mixed nuts?
If you want them.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah, I mean, the three of us will be here. It'll be mixed nuts anyway. And of course, we need to thank Lee Penny for just being Lee Penny. That's going to do it for us this week. Running, maybe 4 or 5 minutes over.
Sorry,
but that's fine. Look, this is a very difficult business. Aside from being an entrepreneur and being a great voice actor, you got to have the technology down. And that's why we're here to help make sure that your technology is really good and that your ears are nice and clean. Anyway, that's going to do it for us this week. I'm Dan Leonard.
And I'm George Whittam.
And this is Voiceover
Body Shop.
Or VO BS. And remember, if it sounds good,
it is good.
And this is Tech Talk. Tech Talk. We've been doing this too long. No, we haven't. We'll continue doing it. Have a great week, everybody.
Later.